Hey everyone, I thought I would show you a quick video about working with the sampling distribution that we've been talking about a little bit. So you'll see here, this is a little applet that you can actually play around with. So here you'll see that this is the populations distribution. You'll see that it's perfectly normal. And what I want to do here is to show you how the sampling distribution works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to animate, and what is going to happen is it's going to randomly choose 5 objects from this population. So here we go, we're going to animate it, and you're going to see the 5 blocks drop. And what it's going to do here, this blue one, is the mean of those 5 blocks. So if you do this again, it's going to grab 5 more and drop another mean. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this 100,000 times. So it's going to do what I just did 100,000 times. And what you're going to see is that the distribution of the means, aka the sampling distribution, is going to be normally distributed. Notice that it's centered at the same value that the population is at 16, right? It's at 15.99. And notice that the standard deviation is just a little bit smaller, right? It's so that's coming from that standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. So in this case, the sample size is 5. So if we clear this, and down here I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to increase the sample size to 10. If I hit 100,000 times, again, both of these are going to be normally distributed. Both are going to be centered at 16, but the bottom one is going to have a smaller standard deviation because our sample size is 10. So what happens if it's not normally distributed? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of make up a distribution here. Notice that this is not normal. It's not really anything. But the same thing is going to happen. The sampling distributions, the distribution that comes here and the distribution that comes here, are both going to be centered around 14.24, and the standard deviation is going to be smaller than 8.62. So again, I'm going to do 100,000 times. Again, notice both of them normally distributed, both of them centered around the same mean. The standard deviation of the sample size that's larger has a smaller standard deviation. Again, that's coming from sigma divided by the square root of n. So I know that we've been kind of briefly talking about sampling distributions, but I wanted you to kind of see this in action. Again, this is a very important topic, as when we get to hypothesis testing and we do confidence intervals, this is where these probabilities are coming from the sampling distribution. Remember, we can't get our hands on this distribution here. We really can't get our hands on the sampling distributions, but when we grab a sample, we're grabbing out of the blue histograms, not the black one. Remember, these are means of groups of 5 or groups of 10. So in any case, I suggest that you kind of get into this applet and maybe play around with it. If you have any questions or anything, by all means, just let me know.